Did you know E. Jean Carroll wrote a book? It just came out today titled, I'm a Lying Idiot. No, it's not the title of it. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. E. Jean Carroll is back with one of the most suspicious book releases I can think of in recent history. Look at her. There she is on Twitter with E. Jean Carroll. Hello, Mr. President. The only reason why people know about her is because of Trump. More people are reading this book, and it's not even out till tomorrow, this was yesterday, than attended your parade of tanks. I think that's supposed to be some kind of a sick burn. This is just a massive weirdo. And the good news is, she said that more people are reading this book. They're not reading your book. They might be buying it. Democrats might be. Actually, I looked at the book sales. It's not that high already on Amazon. We'll check the page together. But here she is on the moronic MSNBC Morning Joe without Morning Joe, which is actually an improvement when Joe Scarborough is not on his own show. Here they are interviewing E. Jean Carroll. First time we've had an interview with her in probably over a year.
President Donald Trump has failed to persuade a federal appeals court to reconsider the $5 million verdict won by E. Jean Carroll after a jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing the former magazine columnist back in the 1990s and then defaming her after she went public with her allegations.
Okay, so this has almost no news in just what he's already said is so full of lies. Lies of omission, like that they reopened up the statute of limitations just to let this one lawsuit through because it had been so far into the past. She didn't even launch the lawsuit until Trump decided to run for president 25 years later. Just everything fishy about this lawsuit. Convicted by a jury, he says, but he doesn't say that convicted by a jury made up almost entirely of the most leftist Democrats in all of the United States, being in downtown Manhattan. This whole thing was a fraud. However, I've just now filled in the blanks trying to help MSNBC. They could have given you the truth, but instead they're trying to run this hit piece. But E. Jean Carroll is so loopy. She actually destroys her own case the more she talks.
In an 8-2 vote, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan on Friday left intact its December 30th decision by a 3-judge panel that upheld the jury award.
Mostly all those judges, mostly appointed by Biden, totally politicized.
Carroll accused Trump of attacking her around 1996 in a Bergdorf Goodman department store dressing room here in Manhattan.
Around 1996, because no one knows the specific date, including her.
And defaming her then in October 22 on a Truth Social post by denying her claim as a hoax. In his denial, Trump said the former Elle columnist was, quote, not my type, and that she made up the rape claim to promote her memoir. Jurors decided in May of 2023 that Trump had sexually assaulted Carroll and defamed her by lying. They did not find that Trump raped Carroll as she had claimed. A spokesperson for Trump's lawyer.
Not only as she had claimed, but as ABC News' George Stephanopoulos claimed, and that's why they ended up paying Trump $15 million. So this is the whole problem with E. Jean Carroll, is her entire career is based on these lawsuits. Her last memoir was what triggered the last lawsuit, made a lot of money on it. Trump even defaming her is the only marketing she's ever had. The only reason why she's relevant at all is because the left uses her as some kind of a puppet to go get Trump. And now with this book too, it would sell nothing without it being largely about Trump. So whether you're Trump's ally or his enemy, the only reason why people know about you is because of Trump.
Said in a statement that Americans, quote, demand an immediate end to the political weaponization of our justice system and a swift dismissal of all of the witch hunts, including the Democrat-funded Carroll hoax, which will continue to be appealed. And E. Jean Carroll joins us now. Her new book with the title, Not My Type, One Woman versus a President, goes on sale tomorrow. Thank you for being here. And it is normal.
Is everybody in line for that book right now? Ain't no one buying this book.
For an highly anticipated book to receive plenty of advance notice, with lots of anticipation and hype. This was announced just 2 days ago, and now coming out tomorrow. Talk to us about the secrecy around this book.
Well, the behind-the-scenes goings-on at those two trials were so funny and so hilarious.
Yeah, she was having fun. It's fun and hilarious to go to a sexual abuse trial. She looks really, wow. The biggest thing to me is that this book was largely buried by the media. They were secretive about it. That's how you release a turd. You know, have you ever heard of a book company that said, shh, let's be quiet about this. Let's not do any media. And so far, Morning Joe's the only one to pick her up on it. Let's not do any media, no marketing. It's an anti-release book. And now she's going to come up with her big conspiracy on why it had to be quiet. She's going to claim like we didn't want the White House to know, implying they could do something about it. No, they're not going to do anything about it. Nobody cares. No one believes you. This is tabloid garbage. By the way, the entire lawsuit was tabloid garbage. It was always, now it was pushed up by the mainstream media because they were trying to get Trump for $83 million for the R word, which they did not get him for. And of course, if she was making all that money, if she made $83 million, she wouldn't need to release a book to make money.
Found myself in the middle of a high comedy, surrounded by characters that not even John Grisham could have created. It was just too juicy. We did not want the White House to hear about it. And so. But
you won't say why. She doesn't say, why don't you want the White House to hear about it? Why? Are they going to do something? She could have at least said, because they're going to get us, because they would run the publicity, do all negative publicity. She's talking about this thing like it's a giant gossip column, which is what she is. She's a ding-a-ling gossip columnist with no journalistic integrity. And now she's over here just wiping MSNBC through the grease trap of her career.
The people at St. Martin's locked copies of this book in their offices. I didn't have a copy of the book until 2 days ago.
Probably because it was ghost written.
It's the first time I ever laid hands. It was a top secret job. I think we got away with it. And the only thing that's beating us now is Molly. Book is now on the bestseller list. Congratulations, Molly. I mean, really.
It's now on the bestseller list, which is New York Times bestseller list. Oh, this is all Democrat publicity stuff. You know what? We'll go to Amazon. Here, look, I'll show you my Amazon account here. Let's do this. Look, we're going to go to Amazon. Not My Type. One Woman versus a President just came out today. Now, I've been on this list, and you keep track of where you're at under best-selling, right? I've gotten some of my books as high as top 100 for one of my comic books, Creature Tech, back when it came out in 2021. We're going to go down here to her book sales. Okay. This is released here. It says it's 368 pages. And then it says best sellers rank. It's number 573,600 in books. Here's the highest it gets. 2,628 in political leader biographies. I don't even know who would be probably puts James Carville ahead of you. 2,600, that is not a top selling good. So she might be on the New York Times bestseller, which is pure political, but based on real book sales, nobody's buying this thing. Yeah, New York Times, which tells you something about the New York Times bestseller list too. Garbage. Complete garbage.
A legal proceeding involving someone who was and now is again the President of the United States, I think would strike many as a serious matter. But you just said that you found things about it that were very funny. Give us a taste as to what you mean. Like, what are some of the moments captured in this book?
Okay. The characters alone. We have Judge Kaplan. A steel rod of a man. Looks like God on the Sistine Chapels.
He doesn't look like God. He looks like a garbage collector. He looks like a homeless guy. He looks like an alcoholic writer. Look at her doing the drama too. Let me set the scene. My lawyer, the Judge Kaplan, a steel rod. This is dumb. She is dumb. This commentary is dumb. This book is dumb. MSNBC is dumb for featuring the book. I could go through this whole interview of this lunatic just ranting. Look at this.
If I leaned back and reached my hand, I could have grabbed him by the hair.
You could have grabbed Trump by the hair.
So I could hear everything he was saying. I could hear the snorts and the whines and the bitching and the bawling and the spitting and the hissing and his arms going like this on the desk. And I was...
Look at her whole story is so exciting because she's telling you what Trump did during the lawsuit. That's all she's got. That's all this book is. It's about Trump. She should have just written a thrilling biography about him. Okay, let's go to her legal team here. This is brand new from the Business Insider. Partner at firm that made the deal with Trump defects to a law firm suing the administration. So this is like just, they're all Democrat. This is all inbred. A partner at a law firm that made a deal with President Donald Trump has defected to a boutique law firm that has a history of battling the Trump administration. Ellen Holloman has joined Kaplan Martin LLP from Cadwalder, Wickerman, and Taft, look at all these lawyers, which signed a deal with the White House in April, pledging $100 million in pro bono legal services toward Trump's political priorities. So Robert Kaplan, the founder of Kaplan Martin LLP, Roberta Kaplan, I'm sorry, has been a vociferous opponent of Trump. This is just they're switching lawyers around. The New York Times are not interested in actually giving you good literature or good reviews. What a disaster. I'm not gonna buy this book and read it because it's going to be pure garbage, tabloid, line the birdcage with it. I'll only come back and look at this book again if it somehow blows up in the public where people actually rate it and find anything. There is nothing to find. This thing is going to go instantly invisible. The only heat I'm seeing her get is on MSNBC. And that's why you guys can trust the news here. We followed Carroll from the very beginning. We were first. We followed Sidney Powell from the very, very beginning. We were first. Carrie Lake from the very beginning. We were first. Speaker Mike Johnson from the very beginning. We were first. I hope you'll subscribe so you get the news accurate first. I'm Doug in Exile.